And you're good.
All right, it's October 13th. That means 21 days. 21 days from today, my guys, my people will be busy suppressing the vote. The lines in all the Democrat districts will be massive. Hopefully, it'll be raining on these people. We will make it really difficult for them to vote. Of course, Republicans have no control over Democrat districts. They're run by Democrats. But hey, whatever works. We'll check with Governor Stacey Abrams in Georgia and see how things are going down there.
Well, she got robbed.
Sure. Yeah.
Starting already. We can talk about Governor Greg Abbott.
All-time record for turnout down there. But she got robbed. Sure she did. We got a lot to get to. As always, this is such an exciting time to be alive, Reimer. It's such an exciting time to be doing a podcast. Amy Coney Barrett will be back on the stand, and this time they get to all these pathetic Democrats get to grill her and tell her how much she is to blame for killing all their constituents. It was interesting yesterday. I got one problem with ACB. I mean, I love her. She's a great candidate. She's going to be great. But I got one problem. I'll tell you about that.
Let me guess, because she wore her. Go ahead.
Donald Trump is sending best wishes, blowing kisses. He wanted to kiss everyone in the crowd last night, but he blew kisses to another sexual predator, his favorite sexual predator. I'll give you a hint. He's no longer with us, and he's not Jeffrey Epstein, but we can get into that. We'll play you some of Keith Olbermann's back, and he's crazy as ever. He's trying to keep up with all the crazies out there, and it's not easy for Keith, so he really goes overboard, and we will celebrate the horrendous ratings for the NBA. It's worse than anyone even imagined. It is worse than Adam Silver's worst nightmare. And Megyn Kelly's back too. Megyn Kelly and Keith Olbermann are back. One of them made a fool of himself. The other did a spectacular interview on her podcast with Mark Cuban, just took them apart. We'll play you some of that all on today's Callahan podcast, brought to you, as always, by DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. Why do DCU members love their free checking accounts? It's simple. No monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balances, no strings attached. What's better is with direct deposit to their free checking account, DCU members can get paid up to 2 days early. Zero monthly maintenance fees, zero monthly balance, zero reasons not to switch. They'll even remove the hassle of switching your direct deposits and automatic payments from your current checking account. Learn more and make the switch today at dcu.org/free checking, insured by NCUA, membership required. All right. Have you heard Reimer is here? I'm sorry, all the people who don't like Reimer. Too bad. We need someone to represent the nuts out there. We couldn't get Olbermann today, but we got Reimer. Cullinane is here. I don't even know where to begin. There's just so much going on. I'll give you my one problem with ACB. She's a perfect candidate, almost perfect. It's a great choice. I'm not saying, Trump found her in a nationwide search. Someone told him this would be a great choice in these contentious times because there's so little for the Democrats to attack. They may make something up and accuse her of being a gang rapist or a drug dealer or a child abuser or something. They probably will make something up. But yesterday they had nothing. If you missed it, all they did was put up posters of people in their district, of constituents who were sick or had been in the hospital and will lose their coverage and will die if ACB gets confirmed, which she will be. And of course, none of these people will die. They won't lose their coverage, but you know what?
They won't, but others will, up to 21 million potentially if the ACA gets struck down. Why?
Good luck with that.
Hold on. Why?
Because there's no case before the Supreme Court. And by the way,
what do you mean, Jerry?
There is zero chance that she takes the Affordable Care Act and strips 180 million people of their coverage. That's not going to happen.
20 million.
Everyone knows it.
Okay, so you're definitely supercharged this morning about something, but I would say
I just gave you my list. What are you talking about? Something? I got 10 things here. What, you don't want to do this? Go back to bed.
Amy Coney Barrett. There is a case again in front of the Supreme Court to repeal Obamacare. Texas has the case. That's going to be heard next month.
Not Obamacare in its entirety. You know that. It's just
the individual mandate, right, which would basically destroy Obamacare because without the individual mandate, Jerry, there's less money in the pool for everybody. That's how it works. Everybody needs to buy in to the marketplace. So it would strip tens of millions of people from their health care. Amy Coney Barrett has written about her opposition to Obamacare. And here's my question. So Republicans don't want to repeal Obamacare anymore. They don't want to do that anymore.
They do, but not in its entirety, as you know.
But they want to strip it to the bones and get rid of the individual mandate and deprive it of funds.
Right. Yes.
Good. So good. So then
you know what? I'm so sick. I don't like arguing with you about healthcare. I'm arguing with you about the Supreme Court.
But you're so right. But you're so wrong about it. I love that Republicans
tell me this
for
then
10
Alex
years
Reimer.
have campaigned on repealing the Affordable Care Act. Now they pretend they don't want to repeal it because their policies are unpopular.
Anything with Obama's name on it, I want to repeal. That's the greatest thing Trump has done. He's undone all of Obamacare's destructive work and destroying this country. But anyway, what does that have to do with Amy Coney Barrett? She's there. As she said, she's a judge. She will be a justice. She will interpret the law.
Yeah, just call balls and strikes.
Right. That's what she said she will do.
That.
That's what she will do. That's what Republicans wanted to do. Democrats want their Supreme Court justices to be legislators on the bench. That's what they want. They're not going to get it, fortunately. It was just such a dog and pony show.
They'll get to Scalia. I mean, she has said herself last year, his judicial philosophy is mine.
Precisely, which is why, I mean, elections have consequences. Donald Trump won. He gets to name her, and the Senate is controlled by Republicans. They get to confirm her.
I love that that's always added at the end now because, like, you all forget what a hypocrisy it is, hypocritical it is. So, the Senate is also controlled by Republicans. So that's why we can name a justice 2 weeks before the election.
Correct. Who cares what? I mean, who cares when it is? It's legal. It's constitutional. If he ever didn't nominate a just judge, there would be an uprising like we've never seen before from his base, from the Republicans. Of course, I mean, the idea that he's going to say, "Nah, it's kind of near the election. I'll skip it."
It's not kind of near the election.
I wouldn't care if it was after the election. If this happened after the election.
Okay, great. So let's put the shoe on the other foot. We have President Barack Obama, lame duck President Obama, and a lame duck Senate confirming a Supreme Court justice after losing the election. You would be okay with that, Jerry?
I would have no say in it. I would have no say.
Okay,
there was nothing. Alex, there's nothing I could do about it. It's legal. It's constitutional.
Well,
I wouldn't care
Jerry.
If it was January 20th, I would say,
Jerry, I don't understand why can't you just call spade a spade? Republicans have stolen 2 Supreme Court seats. Kudos to Mitch McConnell. Kudos to you for pulling it off. You did it. It's illegal.
He follows the law. Alex, I know it hurts. Democrats don't like that. They don't like to follow the law. They don't like the Constitution. They think it's a living document.
So a president
tell me what they
somebody in March. He's not allowed to get seated.
Biden literally said yesterday, this is unconstitutional. That is either he's stupid or he's lying, one or the other. It's obviously not unconstitutional. There's nothing. Even Jake Tapper, who's about as enthusiastic a Biden supporter as there is, said there's nothing unconstitutional. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm sorry. It's not breaking the law. It's not jamming in it's not ignoring the dying wishes of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, this unelected left-wing.
Well, it is. I mean, she said she wanted her replacement after the election.
So what? Who cares?
Well, so it is ignoring her dying wishes.
Okay, it's ignoring her dying wishes.
Okay, great. So I don't understand why. I mean,
why is that relevant?
This is the thing. I don't think it's relevant either. But I mean, why don't you just admit reality? So you used to admit reality. Why don't you just say we have stolen Supreme Court seats? We are ignoring Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wishes. We want to suppress the vote. We want to repeal Obamacare. You used to at least be honest about your motives.
I am honest about everything.
You
people are lying.
It's actually very chicken shit to not admit what you're up to.
You people are lying. I am honest about everything. I just explained it to you. There's nothing dishonest. There's nothing unconstitutional. There's nothing illegal. You are frustrated. Biden is frustrated. All your surrogates in the media are frustrated. There's nothing you could do about it. You know it. And she, again, is a great nominee so far. She looks good. Here's my problem. here's where I struggled a little bit yesterday. That voice. Ooh, that voice. I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't hear much from Supreme Court justices. Hell, most times you don't even know what they sound like. But we will today. We will for the next few days get to hear her. And that voice was a little tough on the ears, I have to say.
If confirmed, it would be the honor of a lifetime to serve alongside the Chief Justice and 7 Associate Justices. I admire them all and would consider each a valued colleague. And I might bring a few new perspectives to the bench. As the President noted when he announced my nomination, I would be the first mother of school-aged children to serve on the court. And I know that it would make Senators Young and Braun happy to know that I would be the first justice to join the court from the 7th Circuit in 45 years. I would be the only sitting justice who didn't attend school at Harvard or Yale, but I am confident that Notre Dame could hold its own, and maybe I could even teach them a thing or two about football.
That was
that was a little bit.
I hate when they make jokes like that. It's
a lame joke, and but she's great. She's going to be great.
The voice was fine. What's wrong with the voice?
They embarrassed themselves holding up posters and say, "You're going to kill the children in my district." And the worst, you know who the worst was? They were all bad. I mean, Sheldon Whitehouse is a disgrace. There's Chris Coons, a disgrace. Maisie Hirono is dumber than this microphone I have in front of me. Absolute moron. But the worst.
Well, that's so random. What's wrong with her? The senior senator from Hawaii.
Have you heard her? She's just not very bright. Alex.
She's good. I like
sorry.
Maisie. She's good.
Not a bright woman. She's terrible. She's terrible. Anyway, the worst. Kamala Harris, I believe, was in the building, but wouldn't come attend in person because the virus. This is a woman who's on allegedly campaigning, doing indoor meetings and rallies and
she's not gathering. Hold on, what indoor rally has Kamala Harris done?
They're not real rallies. I'm sorry. They're usually about 6 or 7 people show up.
There's no rallies.
She's doing meetings and indoor get-togethers every day, but she can't attend this vital meeting.
Yeah, with people who she knows has COVID. Because let's talk about Mike Lee.
Okay, listen. Well, hold on. Let me just finish. Kamala, she did it remotely from the same building. And she did it for obvious reasons. She read her statement on a teleprompter. Okay. Now, everyone in the meeting, everyone in the hearing has to just kind of wing it or look at their notes. And some people gave great speeches, including Mike Lee, without looking down 1 second. He was great. Kamala Harris, the phoniest person in the whole Senate. I mean, she just it makes your skin crawl. She's so phony. Reads from a teleprompter all about, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and everything else and how this is a sham, this is a charade, they're stealing the seat, all these lies, the same garbage I just heard from you. She couldn't come down and do it in person because she couldn't read from a teleprompter, which to me made Trump's case. That's why you can't have a virtual debate, because they will cheat. Biden will read from a teleprompter just like she did. But tell me this, do you think Mike Lee did not get the go-ahead from a doctor?
Okay, what this is like that. So that is the new lamest argument that she was how do you know she was reading from a teleprompter? Number one, and number two, why would you don't think Kamala Harris can speak extemporaneously?
No, I don't think she's a terrible speaker. I think she's the most unlikable candidate I've ever seen. All her mannerisms, rolling the eyes.
Well, I mean, it was pretty hard. I mean, if I were her, I would have slapped the fucking shit-eating grin off of Mike Pence's face last week. Mike Pence trying to insult her. I bet you mommy wouldn't have approved of the dig he was trying to throw at Joe Biden last week.
I'm sorry that Mike Pence destroyed your girl.
Oh, you have to admit that mommy, though, would not have approved of Mike Pence dissing Joe Biden like he did. He's supposed to be a good boy, and he was getting a little rowdy. He calls his wife mother.
He destroyed your girl in the debate. But explain to me. You're upset. I love this. How the Democrats.
Well, do I think Mike Lee was...
the substance of the debate is irrelevant. It's who was wearing a mask. That's all that matters to you. How long they were wearing a mask.
Jerry, look, I am definitely not COVID crazy at all. We've gone through that, so you can't pull that attack on me. But I am saying that Mike Lee, who tested positive for coronavirus less than 2 weeks ago. Everybody in the history of the world has quarantined for 2 weeks, except a sitting United States senator who comes in and doesn't wear a mask while he talks. You can talk with a mask on. People do it all the time.
Please,
waiters do it in restaurants, but people do it. So,
well, none of your senators did it. I mean, Mazie Hirono didn't do it.
because they're negative for corona.
Well, he is too. He's got through it,
He's
Alex.
negative
the
for
green light.
coronavirus. Well, where's his latest
and
negative
you know what?
test? I'd like
He's
to
immune.
see it.
He's like Trump. He's immune. He's
I want to see the test from Mike Lee. And Kamala Harris needs to be healthy. She's the vice. She's going to be our next vice president. She's on the campaign trail. She needs to stay healthy. She can't be.
Get it right.
Our next president, even better. She can't be near all these sick old people. How about Chuck Grassley, who's 87 and refuses to even get tested? I mean, these are infected people.
How about Dianne Feinstein, who's like 103?
Yeah, I mean, sure. These are infected people. She doesn't need to be near them.
Well, don't do it if you don't want to. Kamala Harris is only 55,
right?
And she was in the building, and she's been around people all day. But she did this.
Yeah, but not
you obviously didn't watch it, Alex, because she was literally. You could follow her eyes. She was reading a teleprompter, reading a prepared statement written for her by someone else. She's so phony.
Yeah,
it makes your skin crawl.
The hearings bore me because she's going to get confirmed. It's going to be the same,
right?
Soapbox ranting and raving, which Democrats are right, but there's nothing they can do about this one. So it's a little performative for me.
Well, they're not right. There's nothing unconstitutional. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing inappropriate about it. There's nothing unprecedented about it. They're wrong about everything. And those kids on those posters they held up, they're not going to die because of Amy. She's not going to kill them. But anyway, I look forward to the hearing going forward.
Tacitly.
I think it's going to be really tough for these scumbags who just tried to destroy Kavanaugh's life with lies, tried to destroy his family with lies. It's going to be tough to do that to Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh's fine. He's a sitting Supreme Court justice. Yes. He's doing just fine. I do not have any tears for Brett Kavanaugh at the moment.
Okay, Alex, and I'm sorry. I still like you. I still like having you on, even though you're a gang rapist who used to drug the young boys and rape them. But, you're fine. You're fine. As long as you don't mind people making up stuff about you, you think it's okay, then, we'll go from there.
Worse has been said about me.
Yeah, we can get to you. You're celebrating your sexuality on Twitter. I found that a little strange. The best thing that's ever happened to you, says Alex Reimer.
Absolutely.
It didn't happen to you. You were born that way.
I know,
right?
Exactly. Right.
I agree.
Right.
You were born that way.
Yeah, but it's been the best thing.
But I defend you all the time. No one is more comfortable in his skin than Alex. No one is happier with his life.
And that means a lot to me.
That little pill, that hypothetical pill that people offer, gay people say if you could take a pill and be straight, Alex would be, you've taken plenty of pills, but that's not one that you would take.
Nobody says that except Jerry. Jerry thinks that's like some famous question that's been asked.
It is. It's outdated, but it's an old question. They would say to gay people, if they had a pill and could turn you straight, would you take it?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I've never had more fun in my life.
Why were you? I missed the tweet. Why were you celebrating? Was it like
because it was
National
coming out
day?
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay,
coming out day.
I didn't know.
Yeah, hey, leave Cullinane alone. Sophia made her comeback, so Cullinane's been a little busy.
Listen, you gotta keep an eye on it. All the new trending topics. You gotta keep an eye on.
What's trending about Sophia with an F? Did you listen?
No. Yeah, what's trending about the biggest podcast in the world having a huge split, and then the second person comes back.
What's trending? Tell me what the interesting part
she
of
talks shit about her. I'm not saying it's a huge news story to us, but it's a huge news story in pop culture.
Yeah, we're focused on the election.
I'm telling you, we can get to a new podcast by a hot chick, and that'd be my girl Megyn Kelly, who I had mixed emotions about. Megyn Kelly, she hates Trump. And
does she still though? I don't think she does anymore.
I don't think she's a big fan, but she was run out of NBC for completely ridiculous reasons. I mean, she cashed in, she made a lot of money. Feel bad.
Another person I don't have a lot of sympathy for.
I don't either, but she made. I don't have sympathy for her, but I did appreciate her when she was on Fox because she's a really good interviewer and she's surprisingly tough. Like she doesn't go soft in the middle of an interview and start giggling and say, it was fun talking to you or anything like that. She goes in for the kill like very few people do. And I was hoping she'd come back in some form. I don't see why she can't go back to Fox. I mean, Roger Ailes not there anymore. We'll get to Roger, but Bill O'Reilly's not there anymore. Isn't it safe for a hot blonde to go back to Fox?
No, who'd she replace?
I don't know, Martha McCallum or Shannon Bream or you know who she'd replace? Chris Wallace, who sucks. So I'd like to get rid of him.
Oh, do you like Chris Wallace?
I hate his guts, and I want to get rid of him. And if Megyn Kelly came back, I would watch her every time she was on the air. But anyway, she doesn't want to. She wants to be her own boss. That's what we all say when we get fired and start podcasts. We want to be our own boss. Yeah. And of course, she's got got a whole team of people working with her. I have Cullinane, so I'm doing my best. Yeah. But Megyn Kelly, it came back like a couple of weeks ago. She's got a podcast, a lot of promotion. It'll work, but she's had a few guests. I forget who she had on, but I listened to one that wasn't bad. I can't even remember which one, but yesterday.
The Candace Owens ones, I bet.
That's true. Candace Owens always.
Was that a tough interview or friendly?
It was pretty friendly, but Mark Cuban, she had on yesterday. Now, Mark Cuban was a friendly interview for about 20 minutes, giggling about how you raise your kids when you're really rich. Do you love those conversations? Is it tough to raise? Is it tough to raise kids?
Well, she has to worry about Thatcher and
Yates and Yardley.
It's hard.
First of all, her kids have no chance because she gave them all those names. Like, what's your name? Yardley.
Yeah, Yardley Kelly.
Yardley. I don't think that's the last. I don't even know what her husband's last name is. But anyway. She's good. She's a good interviewer. She speaks clearly. She stays on top of the news. She doesn't know much about sports, but this really isn't about sports. This is about China. Actually, it's about the NBA going all woke and having and paying the price in the ratings. They took a huge hit. I got the numbers here. It's amazing how many people.
Here too.
And by the way, I'm taking credit because I said in like May, I said this isn't going to work. This thing where they're shoving their left wing, their woke politics in your face is going to turn off a lot of people. And it did. Even I had no idea it would be this. They would take this big a hit. All right, we'll do the numbers quick and then we'll get to Megyn with Mark Cuban, who was just reeling with this line of questioning, didn't know what to say, didn't know how to handle, the strong woman who was pinning him down. I knew they would take a hit. I had no idea it would be this bad. And they tied game five, which was not the clincher. The clincher was Sunday night. Game 5. In 1990, this is unbelievable. Tied The Last Dance, the documentary about Michael Jordan, got 5.6 million viewers. Game 5 of this playoff series, this final series, 5.6 million viewers. And game 5, by the way, was a good game. Miami won. They had no competition. It was Friday night. They ended up, game 6 was the clincher for LeBron James to win the title, his 4th title, to beat Miami, to win for the Lakers, to win it for Kobe, to win it for social justice, which is what Darren Rovell said he did. He won it for voter registration and he won it for social justice.
He did.
He got 5.8 million? In last year, that game got 18 million. They went down 12.5 million in 1 year. But this is my favorite one. In 1998, Michael Jordan, clincher.
Yep.
35.6 million to LeBron's clincher, 5.6 million. 30 million fewer viewers for LeBron than Michael Jordan. Now tell me about how there was, a football game on, or, people are cutting the cord and watching, not watching conventional TV, which is one of Cuban's excuses. None of that, Alex explains, a drop in viewers of 30 million. That's incredible.
Well, I think ratings for everything have been tumbling over the last 25 years or so. I don't think
not like that. How about the NFL? They tumble like that? They don't.
But they're falling now. So you look at the ratings leading into the weekend. NBA totally down, but Major League Baseball down 39%. NFL down 14% entering this week. The Stanley Cup Final, Jerry, in the NHL was praised by Eric Trump for standing during the anthem. Damn it. They were down 61% in the Stanley Cup
I don't even
final.
know when that is. When is the NHL final?
It's over, I think.
Oh, it is? Shit.
Yeah. But I know. Well, we.
But even you got to admit, Alex, I know you love
after the Bruins Cup run. I'm a big hockey guy. I'm upset I missed.
I know, and you do overnights on the sports
and
station.
Now I do it all the time. Yeah, I still miss.
You have to. I know you love LeBron. I know you love the wokeness of the NBA and the Black Lives Matter on the court and the slogans on their shirts. You have to admit, dropping 30 million viewers in 30 years and 12 million in 1 year is a huge hit that even they couldn't have expected. And it's the reason Adam Silver's already announced that there will be no more tributes to Black Lives Matter next year.
Well, I just think they did quite a bit this year.
That's all they did. They had it on the court. They had it on their T-shirts. They had it on their game jerseys.
Right. So that's what he means. So right. So they're gonna. I mean, I think players will still be allowed to speak freely and encouraged to speak freely. But yes, we will not have NBA sponsored Black Lives Matter for a second straight year. But I don't even know when the second or the next NBA season is going to be.
I don't either. You're the overnight host. Tell me, when does it start up again so I can ignore it again?
I think probably they're going to keep holding off until they can have fans in the stands again. I mean,
right.
So what?
Well, they can. I mean, obviously, they can if they want. They have it in lots of NFL stadiums. In the Texas now, in Florida now, they are full to capacity.
A&M, I like
God
that.
God bless Ron DeSantis. He's like, fill it up. No, we're not. We're through. We're done with this. In Texas, they had at the A&M game, they had 28,000, which is a good number. That's like half or 1/3 full for college football, and they made a lot of noise. But this is a huge hit and a huge problem. And
but how come ratings for every other league, though?
It's not close to taking this kind of hit, Alex. Not even close. This is not a dream matchup. But last year, they had a team from Canada and a team from Golden State.
But I also say, though, Jerry, look, I've been into the bubble. We've been breaking it down all summer long on CBS Sports Radio. I'm digging the bubble. Dame.
I'm listening every morning or night or whatever you are.
Dame. Morning, actually, technically. Right. Dame, LBJ. These are my guys. AD. But I do have to say... the bubble, it did go on for a year, this NBA season, right? Literally a calendar year. I think by the end of it, even the most ardent bubble fans were like, we've had enough of this.
Can you imagine people sitting out of a Michael Jordan clinching game, knowing that he was going to celebrate? I realize it was a blowout, but it was a clincher. And again, it was very emotional. It was all, they kept talking about Kobe Bryant. They kept talking about LeBron winning a title with his third team, his fourth title. It was very emotional. It should have been good TV. I didn't watch. Neither did anyone. Last year, a team from Canada played Golden State. They got 18 million. This year, 5.5 million. They took a hit of 12 million viewers in 1 year.
But it also wasn't at the same time of year. June compared to
Friday night.
Friday night, October, no the summer excuse doesn't even run anymore. Yeah, but I would say that, as Dave has been saying all along, that the bigger thing is ratings for all sports are down. And I think the bubble went on for a very long time. And this final was also bereft of any sort of drama. You knew the Lakers would win. There wasn't a lot of intrigue to it.
You don't think drama is LeBron winning a title for Kobe? That's drama. That's good TV. If they weren't so woke, if there were no politics, the number would have been much, much bigger.
But I understand.
That's a fact.
But the NBA has been very political ever since really 2014. Eric Gardner, they wore "I Can't Breathe" shirts. They made that statement at the ESPYs for to curtail gun violence. LeBron and Dwayne Wade. That was 5 years ago, I think. So the NBA has been going in this direction for at least half a decade.
But this year, they took it. They painted the name of a violent Marxist political organization on the court.
You people are such snowflakes. My goodness. But here's what I'm disappointed about.
Might as well put like the Soviet flag up. Put the Cuban flag.
Well, we do live. Well, what we know about Trump's health is it's similar to, as Joy Reid said, a Stalinist type situation right now. But anyway,
let's get back to Meghan with
Cuban.
Hold on,
but I'm disappointed in you, though. Hold on. You, Jerry, are a true sports fan. We always talk about that on WEI. Jerry was, at the end of the day, big sports guy. Like to go through the box score.
I've spent the last 2 nights watching NFL football, and I spent 7 hours the last 2 nights watching the Sunday night and the Monday night game. They were both terrific. Last night I was rooting for the Chargers, the LA Chargers, and Justin Herbert, who was terrific. And watching, for a while at least, watching what appeared to be Drew Brees just growing old before our eyes. Brees comes back, they win it. It was great theater. It was great. It was a great sporting event. And that, a Monday night game in October between the Chargers and the Saints will destroy the LeBron clinching game. That's all you need to know.
But here's all you need. Jerry, you are, like you said, big sport. LeBron James, fine. Don't like his views, whatever. This guy is 35 years old, won his 4th title on a 3rd team, averaged 30 points this final with 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists, almost a triple-double at 35. And you're not impressed with that at all?
I would have maybe if I watched it. I had no interest. But
Screw Jerry, him. Come on. But you have to say, I mean,
I didn't
you're a
watch
sports fan.
I don't have the answer to this one either, because I would love to watch it and I'm just not into it. And I don't really know why. I don't really know why we're all shitting on the bubble saying, oh, he won an AAU basketball tournament.
This was the hardest championship ever.
Literally everybody was on equal footing though. Like what's really different about it? There's
nothing was different about it. And the competition was excellent. It was really good basketball.
The only thing you can make an argument about
didn't watch either.
The only thing you can make an argument about is that you don't play away games. Then you're talking about, does that really matter that there's no fans rooting against you? Is it tougher to play here than that? I don't know. They were on equal footing. It should have been compelling television, and I just didn't watch.
And the NBA gets credit for 2 things: acknowledging their mistake. Adam Silver, who's a big left-wing nut job, has already admitted it was a mistake, and they won't do it next year. And the other thing, I believe they played 172 games over whatever it's been, 3 months. Not one positive coronavirus test. Not one. That's amazing. All the people who said they shouldn't play and now they're focused on the NFL, shouldn't play basketball, shouldn't play whatever, cancel all sports. They were wrong. They were dead wrong. All the Darren Ravels and Ben Volans and all the Corona bros were wrong. Now they're saying, the NFL shouldn't play, which is absurd. The NFL, they said the Patriots playing at Kansas City was a mistake. Maybe you, being an overnight sports host, can help me with that. Why is it a mistake?
Hold on.
The Patriots had
overnight sports host.
The Patriots, Cam Newton didn't go, so the Patriots had 2 guys, Stephon Gilmore and another guy, test positive. They'll both be fine in a week. They played the game. It was a good game. They had a big audience. They had big ratings. They made money. That's their job. What's the problem? Why not power through it? As some people have said, just power through it. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what they do. The people at the grocery stores and the cops and the Amazon guys and the delivery guys, they all do their job. If someone at work gets the virus, that person stays home. Everyone else gets tested. If you get positive, you go home and quarantine. Why would you not play games because 2 guys tested positive?
Well, because, I actually want to see the NFL finish its season. And the best way to do that is to avoid the possibility of massive outbreaks like we're seeing with the Tennessee Titans. And the way to do that is to be safe. As we've seen with the White House, sometimes it can take a couple of days for positive tests to spring up. So if I'm the NFL, why don't you just add a week 18 and push these games to then the Super Bowl?
Well, they probably will. They already have.
So that's what I'm saying to do, because delaying games 24 hours really does nothing. And what if you have that small chance where you have some players who test negative, but it's before the virus is detectable, and then they pass it to other players, and you have an outbreak, and then you have a situation. So I think that's
right, and they'll take it as it comes. But until then, you why power not through it.
Right, which is right. But I am saying the NFL should add an additional week at the end of the season to give themselves cushion.
Good. So you don't want to cancel the season. You don't want to
say, I don't know. Who wants to know? I don't want to. Who wants to cancel a season?
Trust me, they're out there. The Corona bros are out there hoping. They were so happy that the SEC canceled the game. Vanderbilt and Missouri got canceled because of some minor outbreak. And they're like, see, I told you they couldn't do it. They should do it. They could do it. The NBA did it. Nobody watched, but they did it. NHL did it. Baseball's doing it.
Well, the NBA was in a bubble, as was the NHL.
Yes, well, but so what? Everyone's taking precautions at some level. The NFL is doing what they can.
Right.
Not in a bubble, but they're doing what they can. A few guys have gotten the virus. They'll be, you know what? Cam Newton's going to miss 1 game. That's it. And when he's back, he'll be like Trump. He'll be Superman. He'll feel better than ever. He'll be immune. He won't have to wear a mask. He'll be able to go out there and breathe on anyone he wants. Which, by the way, before we get to Meghan, we're going to get to Meghan. Did you see that? You see the story that the rumor was that Trump wanted to go on stage in his first appearance after getting over the coronavirus, rip off his shirt and have a Superman shirt under it.
I believe it.
The one thing missing from that story is who vetoed that idea, who stopped them from doing it, because that would have been just priceless. I don't like all the things Trump does, particularly, when he speaks off the cuff, but that would have been hilarious.
Hilarious. I think it would have been cheesy.
Yeah, so what? Cheesy and hilarious. It can be both.
And I mean, this is what this presidency has come down to. This guy who's ridden
when it comes to Trump, you got no sense of humor, Reimer.
Sitting in the hospital, dreaming of these like PR stunts. I mean, that's what that's what his presidency has devolved into. And I'm excited for it to end in less than 3 weeks. Can I tell you that, nobody's
lame duck Trump is going to be wild if he loses.
Nobody's been more pessimistic than me about the Biden, because all the voter suppression, Jerry, and cheating that we're, seeing rampant. But even that, I don't think will stop the Joe Biden and the momentum, the Joe-mentum, as they're calling it.
What does Trump do? I'm gonna say if he loses, but I think we all know where it's going. What does Trump do when it loses? Like, does he go? I know he's going to go back to his businesses, real estate, shit like that. But from like a media celebrity standpoint,
the rumor is that he's going to own a TV network, whether it's like Newsmax or some, maybe FTF. He'll own some network. He'll elevate the profile. He'll put his people on it, and people will watch because he hates Fox News right now. He hates, for good reason. Chris Wallace turned out to be, a double agent working for Biden. John Roberts turned out to be a scumbag too. So he hates these people.
Supreme
and he wants
Court Justice.
No, John Roberts, who grilled Kayleigh McEnany on the white supremacy.
He asked her a hard question.
That's the clue. The first clue, if you want to know somebody's working for the other team. They mention white supremacy, which is a total canard, totally made up. It'll come up in the next debate, which hopefully is, hopefully they stop the pretense. I want the next debate to be moderated by Joy Behar and Chelsea Handler. That should be the next, and Jill Biden too. We'll have the three of them, just so we can stop the pretend that these moderators are neutral. But don't get me going. We have a great cut from Sleepy Joe from yesterday, who was stumbling and bumbling all over. Alex, I'm not sure he can make it 3 more weeks. I'm really not sure. He'll probably call a lid for, out of the 21 days for like 17 of them. But he is such an embarrassment on the stump. Yesterday, he said he was running for the Senate. He couldn't remember Mitt Romney's name. And he said that Mormon guy, Mitt Romney. And you want to play this now, Dave, or you want to?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Let's play the most amazing gaffe, which is not getting a lot of play because most of the media is in the tank. They wake up each day wondering how they can help their guy today. You got to look for. Maybe you haven't heard this one yet, but this is him talking as usual about white supremacists, neo-Nazis, Proud Boys, and Trump, and he just makes an incredible gaffe.
Sympathizers carrying Nazi flags, using the exact same.
George, he's defending people carrying Nazi flags.
It was National Coming Out Day over
Were there such a thing as Nazi?
They were killed. Unfortunately, they were.
Can you play that? Can you play more of that? I want to hear lead up to it.
The only thing I could find, because it is on the dark web at this point.
It is on the dark web.
Yes.
I play it again. I want to hear it again.
All right.
Sympathizers carrying Nazi flags, using the exact same.
Do you have him talking about Mitt Romney, that Mormon guy? Mitt Romney's sort of a high-profile guy. He ran against him. He and Obama ran against Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney, and he can't remember Mitt Romney. How's he going to remember?
That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate. We have to come together. That's why I'm running. I'm running as a proud Democrat for the Senate.
He's running for the Senate. Well, that would be better for the country, but he's not sure what office he's running for, not sure who he's running against, and he's afraid of those Nazi flags. But,
okay, I mean I'm not even laughing at that because these are just distorted clips.
It's offensive.
Yeah, it is offensive. These are distorted clips. I mean, Trump, who's in the hospital, stricken with coronavirus, saying we love the USA and we love what's happening. So I mean,
so he loves his country. I know that's not accepted on your side of the aisle.
The deranged, raging lunatic who's calling off stimulus talks, and 1 minute later he wants the biggest stimulus deal ever.
I will give you this. I I don't understand why he doesn't know what his old friend Roger Ailes did. I mean, I understand they used to be friends. I understand that Roger Ailes liked Trump, wanted to get Trump elected, supported Trump, probably encouraged everybody at Fox News to support Trump. Those were the good old days.
The good old days.
But and maybe he hasn't really read all the stories, watched that The Loudest Voice with Russell Crowe. Maybe he isn't all updated on the news. But he's done this before, and he did it again yesterday. He tweeted, Roger Ailes was the greatest. He tweeted this yesterday. How does he not know? How does he not know what Roger Ailes did?
Or he does know, but doesn't care because he's done the same things.
So what? I mean, even if he knew and didn't care, you wouldn't say it, would you? I mean, even if...
Why? Because he's done the same things and doesn't think there's anything wrong with it.
Let me see. I reached out to Kayleigh McEnany. I asked her if she could do us a favor and update Trump on Roger Ailes. I said, just tell him he wasn't really the greatest.
What'd she say?
She didn't get back to me. Kayleigh McEnany promised to follow everyone who followed her, and I follow her, and she didn't follow me, so I'm a little insulted. But here's the tweet yesterday, 14 hours ago. He says, Fox News allows more negative ads on me than practically all of the other networks combined. Not like the good old days, but we will win even bigger than 2016. Roger Ailes was the greatest. Capital letters, exclamation point. Roger Ailes, he died before they could convict his fat ass, was an absolute monster. He was, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he didn't go after children, but he was a sexual predator. He was Harvey Weinstein. He was evil. And the president of the United States, who I support 100%, says he was the greatest. What the hell?
Because he likes Roger Ailes, and they did the same things. They run in the same circles. Two old, fat, obese white guys who abuse women.
No, Trump didn't do what Ailes did. I'm not going to let you get away with that. But the people at Fox News, some who aren't there, Gretchen Carlson, Megyn Kelly, must be looking at that going, that's the president talking about a guy who, in some cases committed rape.
But it doesn't even get noticed. You're like one of the few people who notices that. It's just.
I literally tweeted about it and it got hardly any reaction. Nobody cares. It's like there's some hardcore Trumpsters saying,
defend it. What is it? Yeah. What does the defense of Roger Ailes look like from the?
Let's see.
But also, Fox's ratings have never been higher, right? So I don't even like the actual praising of him doesn't really even make sense and matter because Tucker Carlson's never been bigger. Hannity's never been bigger.
That's true, but watch the ads sometime. You want to talk about cancel culture? They don't get any. There's no GMs or Toyotas or Merrill Lynch or Budweiser. It's all Relief Factor and My Pillow and this thing you stick up your nose to suck out the mucus. I mean, they that is the product of Media Matters and the other.
Well, that's because you have to go after loyal advertisers. We know a thing or two about this.
Right, yeah, and you have to go after your demographic. That tells you who's watching Fox News.
It tells you the mucus.
No, it tells you
the vultures. It tells you
the sissies. It tells you that Geico is a bunch of bitches. Like that's what it tells you.
It tells you that Media Matters is effective. That these left-wing groups that harass advertisers, like Media Matters, like the Boston Globe, that used to be a newspaper, now they're just a left-wing advocacy group. They harass people, and eventually these corporations surrender. Say we don't need the harassment, we don't need the hassle. They bail, and you're stuck with My Pillow, 17 times an hour. It's too bad. I mean,
I gotta call My Pillow, by the way. I don't know why I haven't returned my calls. I gotta keep trying.
Get on. Call Mike Lindell. He's been canceled, by the way. They're not allowing him to promote his book on I don't know what it is, on Facebook or Twitter or something. I mean, it's harassment. But there's a few people says you got to separate his private life with his business life.
Right.
Roger Ailes. How about this guy? This guy, Mass Conservative, is the tweets, the slug. It says, "Shut up, Jerry," because I said Roger Ailes was not a good guy.
These snowflakes, my goodness, they can't handle even a little. Because yeah, it's a great guy, Roger Ailes. He would twirl for you. Do a little twirl for me.
Do the twirl. That's right. I mean, maybe some of that stuff's made up, but they ended up paying a fortune to these women. A fortune.
I mean, the craziest thing is too. I mean, Bill O'Reilly paid what was it, $50 million to one of his.
It was like 30 something, but maybe who knows? I don't think we know the number.
What did he do? I mean, what could he have possibly done to that woman?
To more than one woman, but he did it to Gretchen Carlson, and I'm going to guess it was pretty bad, because he paid a fortune.
Didn't he pay like more than what OJ had to pay?
Oh yeah, I mean, OJ never seen that amount of money. It makes you realize how much money Bill O'Reilly was making that he could pay someone $40 million to go away. And now he does these videos on The First, which is
what is that?
I think an internet network, and he does these monologues, which kind of like the old monologues that he did, but it's kind of sad. You know, he's been unseated by the biggest star in TV news, and Tucker Carlson, who's getting huge numbers. And O'Reilly is just an afterthought. It's kind of sad, but it's like watching. He's like Drew Bledsoe, and he was taking and Tucker's Tom Brady.
Were you a big O'Reilly guy? I always found him to be very humorless.
He was obnoxious, but I watched him. I mean, he's really good at interviewing and really good at speaking off the cuff. And I watched him. Sure, you know, I don't think he was a very nice guy off the air, and he still kind of makes appearances. He's on local radio, and you see him. He goes on with Hannity.
Yeah,
I would have trouble doing that. I'm not trying to be all sanctimonious, but I would have trouble putting Bill O'Reilly without knowing exactly what he did. I think it's pretty bad what he did. I would have trouble putting him on and looking him in the eyes and thinking, this guy really forced himself on some women over the years, and trying to normalize him, I couldn't do that. I don't think.
An activist sends a few emails and, you go ape shit over it. But then, 2 years later, you put on Bill O'Reilly, of all people, to own 5 minutes of your airwaves. It seems pretty insane, if you ask me.
It does. But I mean, if you're a obscure network like TV and
WRKO, go on. Yep.
I mean, it's good for.
I think that would be accurate. Yes,
if I told you to get O'Reilly, who has another book out, killing, I don't know, Crazy Horse or something. He's got a new book out every month. If I said, "Can you book O'Reilly?" What would you say?
I'd say, yeah, let's book him if you're going to go at him and call him an asshole to his face. But if you're just going to talk about his stupid ass book and do nothing with him, I'd say.
What do you mean go at him? Say, what did you do to Gretchen Carlson?
I don't know. Yeah, just be an asshole. You're right. I don't really know how you would go at him, but I'm not going to do some kiss ass book interview with Bill O'Reilly of all people.
You would not. I wouldn't talk about the book.
We have the Dynasty guy to do that with. Why are we going to do that with Bill O'Reilly?
Oh, by the way, did you see who Megyn Kelly's next guest is, Cullinane?
No, who's that?
One guess.
Jeff Benedict.
No.
Alan Dershowitz.
Correct.
Oh my God.
No. Is that true?
Loser.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the producer lied to him and said, "You're just going to talk about your book, Alan."
Yeah. No, is that true though? Is he really going to be on?
That is true, and it'll be good. All right, let's.
Do you think she'll ask about Jeffrey Epstein?
You got it.
You know what? That's a good question, Reimer. I would say no until yesterday when I heard
what's the point
the Cuban.
Of it?
When I heard the Cuban interview, so maybe she will. I'll listen.
What would you talk to Alan Dershowitz about?
What else do you want to talk about?
Besides Jeffrey Epstein, he's a Trump supporter. He's not welcome in polite society on the Vineyard anymore. They don't allow him on the nude beach anymore because he supports Trump. That's a pretty interesting, dynamic when you.
Has he come out as a Trump supporter, or does he just say that he thought the impeachment was a hoax?
I think it's a good question. I think he says, I'm a lifelong Democrat.
Right, liberal Democrat. I voted for Hillary.
What the Democrats doing is wrong, etc. I don't know. I'll listen because, like I said, if you listen to the Megyn Kelly, Mark Cuban podcast, you will at first think, oh, this is not this. She's kissing his ass. They're talking about their kids and their upbringing and what's the hardest part about being rich? She asks him. And he
what
says,
is the hardest part?
His answer, and we're going to skip this part, but his answer is nothing. And she said,
he's right.
She said, I thought you would say that the people around you wonder if they're just there because you're rich, your friends.
Right. And
his answer is, no, my friends are guys I grew up with and went to college with. And I know I could see right through people who are just in it for the money. So, he standard answer. And do you spoil your kids and that kind of thing? It's okay. It's just, her, playing footsie with Mark Cuban. And I was this close to turning it off after like 20 minutes. I'm going, this is lame. Then she goes in for the kill, and it was great. She talks about the ratings that we talked about, and then she talks about China, and she had Mark Cuban, who thinks he's smarter than anybody and who thinks he can talk himself in and out of anything, didn't have any answers. It was good stuff. Can we play that now, Cullen?
Yeah.
Why would the NBA take $500 million plus from a country that is engaging in ethnic cleansing?
So basically you're saying that nobody should do business with China ever.
Why don't you just answer my question?
No, Megan, I'm just trying to get to the root of it. So
why
you're
would the
just trying to
NBA do that?
Why?
You're the
Because they're a
one. You
customer
are
of
the
ours.
one who
because
said
they are a customer. They are a customer of ours. And guess what, Megan? I'm okay with doing business with China. You know, I wish I could solve all the world's problems, Megan. I'm sure you do too, but we can't. And so we have to pick our battles. And while you'd like to get proclamations so you can create a clip that says, look what I got Mark to say, you don't want to deal with the actual action item. You might think silence is violence, but action gets changed, right? And so when I start to talk about creating our silence,
There you go.
No, let's play more. It was good. He just
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I think that I totally agree with what Mark Cuban was saying there, and I've been saying the same thing. This whole look, we can talk about how terrible China is and the hypocrisy of it, sure, but to pick out the NBA opposed to every other major corporation in the country, which also, by the way, has issued statements in support of Black Lives Matter and also does business with China, is beyond disingenuous.
Do you realize how lame you sound right now, Reimer?
Why?
They're
What?
doing business with
Why
the
would that
country. They're turning a blind eye to genocide. You're saying exactly what Cuban said. Well, everyone else is doing it.
Right,
look at-
everybody else does it. Where is the outrage over every other corporation?
Okay, how about we do this? How about we start here and we get to them?
Do you know why there's outrage over the NBA? Because it's a league of outspoken black players, and the racists on your side don't like that.
Hey,
so that's
you are
what they do.
deflecting. You are worse than Cuban here. You are worse than Cuban. You understand, you, my half-Jewish friend, you understand that there are real parallels here. They have concentration camps. They put Uyghur Muslims on trains and took them to concentration camps, and they are forced into hard labor. And you know what this douche, Mark Cuban, says he's doing? He's pressuring the State Department to issue more visas to Chinese people who want to get out of China. Do you realize how ridiculous that is as an answer?
I'm saying you wouldn't give a shit about
these are people who can't get out of a concentration camp, and he thinks they're going to get out of the country and come to the U.S. I'm sorry. That is lame, and Megan called him out, and it was glorious because he is a phony. He will talk about how he's concerned. He started talking about the troubles in Africa and the troubles in this country and that country. Well, that's fine. But right now we're talking about China, your biggest overseas partner, a country that spends $500 million on the NBA and the rights and everything else, that you defend, even though you know they're committing human rights atrocities. And it's a deflection to say, we can't solve all the troubles in the world. Again, you say this in 1936 about Germany. Would you say, well, we can't solve all the troubles in the world?
There were people who were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to defend them too?
No, but I am saying that you wouldn't give a shit about the Uyghur Muslims if LeBron James didn't talk about Breonna Taylor.
I don't even understand the connection. I don't even understand the connection.
And your people don't like outspoken black athletes speaking about racial issues.
Okay,
so
Alex,
you now use the NBA. And say your views are invalid on police brutality because the league does business.
Okay, if
with
I can go back and show you things I've said or tweets I've written before Breonna Taylor to prove that you're wrong, would you accept that? Because I'm sure I did.
Didn't this whole story, it kind of took a life of its own after the Daryl Morey thing from a year and a half ago at this point.
Daryl Morey was long before Breonna Taylor.
But LeBron and the NBA players were outspoken about racial issues then as well.
So what? I don't even understand the connection.
Because you want to invalidate their opinions.
Mark Cuban's white.
Yeah, but Mark Cuban has been very supportive of social justice issues, and it's not about Mark Cuban. It's about the league as a whole. The league as a whole.
By the way, there was a great argument with Megyn Kelly and Cuban on Black Lives Matter and how they put the name of a violent Marxist political organization on the court, turning off their fans, and he starts stammering and stumbling and saying they're two different things. It has nothing to do with the organization. It's just Black Lives Matter. That's a load of crap, and he knows it, and that's why they're not going to have it there next year. But
So Megyn Kelly's
Alex, I understand.
So Megyn Kelly's done like dancing in the studio like Ellen, and she's back to being a hard right wing.
She is back. Well, it has nothing to do with right wing. I mean, you are such a great representative.
I am great
of the left.
Stop it there. You are great.
You are a great representative of the left. You are you represent the party of Joy Behar and Mazie Hirono and Keith Olbermann, just the total nut jobs. Some of them are really stupid, others not so stupid.
Behar, Mazie Hirono,
but the defense for the NBA doing business with a country that's committing genocide, that's forcing a religious minority into concentration camps. Your defense is you're only saying that because LeBron is black?
Yes.
Precisely. Usually I can get my mind around your insanity, your illogic, but I'm lost on this one. I'm lost.
Why? It's very simple. You want to invalidate LeBron's views on social and racial justice issues, and as a result, you cherry pick the NBA's business relationship with China.
Cherry pick. So you don't
ignoring the business relationship that every other corporation has with China.
I'm going to invite you right now to introduce other companies who are doing business with China and publicly supporting China and publicly condemning any of their employees who might support, I don't know, the freedom fighters in Hong Kong. So tell me, does that apply to Microsoft or Raytheon or General Motors, or what company are we talking about?
They do a lot of business in China.
Okay, good.
And keep their mouth shut about a lot of issues there.
Okay, so I condemn them too. If you give me some details, that'd be great. We'll talk about that next week. But right now we're talking about China and the NBA and hypocrites like Mark Cuban, who thought he was smart enough to handle this line of questioning from Megyn Kelly, and clearly was not. Clearly is a hypocrite and a phony, because he doesn't care about human rights violations because the money is so damn good. Just like the biggest friggin' phony of them all, LeBron James, who sits there and talks about how black men are hunted in this country, and talks about systemic racism while turning a blind eye to genocide because the money is so good. It's just rank hypocrisy. He's a phony. I didn't watch him, but if I did, I certainly would have rooted against him.
I saw a great tweet that I want to share with you that's completely off topic, but it's something that I agree with wholeheartedly. You ready? I have several members of my family who were part of Antifa from 1941 to 1945, but back then they were just called the U.S. Army.
Okay, that's nauseating, Alex. That's offensive and nauseating. It's sickening. And by the way, when is somebody going to demand Biden and Kamala Harris denounce Antifa, these scumbags, these maggots who are still burning Portland and trying to destroy this country, these far left Marxist anarchists? Why do they get to not denounce them while Trump has to denounce these made up white supremacists?
Trump's own Department of Homeland Security. Let's go through the numbers, baby. Says right-wing terrorism is the biggest domestic threat.
If you're at all paying attention to the news, you know that's a lie. You know that's not a shred, not an ounce of truth in that. You know that. But all right, we got to get to Keith Olbermann and stop annoying me, would you?
That was a great tweet.
It was a ridiculous tweet. That is offensive to me. You're comparing vandals who hate America. And by the way, do you look at all their mugshots? They're the most just loathsome people. They're hideous looking, and they're white, and half of them are rich and spoiled, and they're just the worst. I'm not asking the police to open fire, but maybe start using some of them rubber bullets, and more tear gas, because these people, they must pay. It's just sickening. Anyway, all right. Can I do Shea right here, and then we'll do Keith Olbermann, and then we'll get out of here?
Yes, you can.
All right. Well, Shea's got buildings now. They got buildings. Let me tell you about their buildings.
Buildings.
All right. We'll get to Olbermann here, because he reminds me of you, Alex. He's insane. He just hates Trump. He doesn't make a lot of sense. He thinks he's smart, and he thinks he's witty, but he has just gone off the rails. He used to be the biggest star at MSNBC. He used to make like real money, like millions a year. He made an announcement the other day, said that he's leaving ESPN to do his own YouTube thing. Did anyone even know he was still part of ESPN?
He wants to be his own boss.
Yes, like don't we all? Wants to be his own boss, and he needs to get noticed. And it's not easy to get noticed in a world that has, Rachel Maddow and Chris Matthews and Chris Hayes and Joy Behar and Tom Arnold and Alex Reimer and all kinds of lunatics on the left. He's got a history of insane ranting, and he wanted to take it to another level. But I think he might have gone a little too far. Can we hear some from Keith Olbermann this week, Colleen?
Trump can be and must be expunged. The hate he has triggered, the Pandora's box he has opened, they will not be so easily destroyed. So let us brace ourselves. The task is twofold. The terrorist Trump must be defeated, must be destroyed, must be devoured at the ballot box. And then he and his enablers and his supporters and his collaborators and the Mike Lees and the William Barrs and the Sean Hannitys and the Mike Pences and the Rudy Giulianis and the Kyle Rittenhouses and the Amy Coney Barretts must be prosecuted and convicted and removed from our society while we try to rebuild it.
He wants... All right, help me out here, Reimer. He sounds like a guy, after your own heart here. What would you convict Amy Coney Barrett of?
Same as Kyle Rittenhouse.
What are going to be the charges against Sean Hannity?
Destroying our republic. Treason.
So treason. So Sean Hannity is going to be charged with treason.
Yes.
I'm telling you, this guy thinks that people are going to say, wow, he's breathing fire and man, he's bringing it. Most people looked at that, and if you didn't see it, if you just heard it, he looks even crazier than he sounds. His eyes are just bulging out of the sockets, and he's in his basement, literally, sitting in his home with a little background thing and a screen and looking in the camera and doing his YouTube thing, and he sounds like a raving lunatic who's off his meds. It's sad. He used to be, great Sports Center host and great witty, sports guy and celebrity. And now he's like a guy, if you saw him walking towards you you'd walk on the other side of the street.
He's insane. I mean, I respect him because he's blown up his career many times. So
I want to know this deal. And I can't find anything on it. I remember looking it up because I think he announced this last Friday. He does this huge selfie video type thing announcing he's getting out of his ESPN contract to go launch a YouTube show. I want to know if YouTube is paying him for this show.
This is again the benefit of being a left winger is if he were a right winger, they would demonetize him, they would deplatform him, they would take him off YouTube. We got
deplatformed yesterday, by the way. We got deplatformed because we played the Bill Burr audio on Facebook, so they took our video off.
Really?
We're just getting canceled all over the place.
You know what? I don't blame people like Olbermann. If he did that same thing with that same tone from the other side, the other perspective, he'd be destroyed by big tech. Who's gonna, on the ballot in 3 weeks? Big tech. You vote for Biden, you're voting for Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey. Keep that in mind.
I want to know
voting for Mark Zuckerberg, who's new.
He had to be making $1 million a year at ESPN. Who's paying for this? At least who's paying for this show? I need to know.
But Dave, he gets to be his own boss, and that's
just like us.
I tell you, it's. I once mocked him because he doesn't drive a car. And he's never had a driver's license, and I just, I was just poking fun at him. And
how do you live in Bristol, Connecticut, without?
And Eddie Andelman pulled me aside. I think he had a driver. He's that big a deal, or he, took cabs. I don't know. Maybe some intern drove him. But Eddie Andelman pulls me aside and says, "You really shouldn't do that." He's got an eye problem. He can't, he can't get a license. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know." Okay, it wasn't a big deal, but I, just was kind of poking fun at the fact that he's a weirdo. I think he lives alone, and he tweets. The only time he tweets is about a dog shelter, about stray dogs that are going to get adopted, which is nice. But he's clearly unhinged, and you could clearly see that he should be on some kind of meds or should be in some kind of therapy. But he said he had to do this before Election Day because he wanted to make a difference. Does he make a difference? Does anyone get convinced either way from that kind of ranting?
No, I put him below Samantha Bee.
That's a good one. I would say you're right. I put him in that category with Chelsea Handler, Tom Arnold, and just crazy celebrities that have lost their minds because of Donald J. Trump. It's fun to watch. It really is. But you wanted to go at Mark Meadows, who I love. At least I love what he did yesterday. Mark Meadows stepped before the media with a mask on. He pulled the microphone back. He was 10, 12 feet away from anybody. So he took his mask off to talk, which is what everybody does, unless you don't want to be heard, unless you're Biden and you want to mumble into a mask. And the media immediately said, I think it was a New York Times person or CNN, one of those Karens said, "Oh, no, Pete, keep the mask on." And he looked at them and said, "No, I'm not gonna talk to you with a mask on." And he left. He walked off. I love that.
Tell you what, let me do this. Let me pull this away.
Yep, pull away.
And then that way I can take this off the top. Well, I'm more than 10 feet away. I'm not going to talk through it. I'll be glad to answer your question.
That is such a great move. They know it's not really a danger. They know they're not going to get infected, or he's not.
Why? He's been around a man who has COVID.
Hey,
Trump.
What happened to social distancing? He's 10, 12, 15 feet away. Shit, they could stay 20 feet away.
Look, we know that when Arizona issued a mask mandate, coronavirus cases dropped 75%. So we know that masks work. Why won't Mark Meadows wear a mask? And I don't know, Dave.
Alex,
we heard that sound. He came across as a whiny little bitch to me.
He didn't say anything. He just walked away.
Oh, come on.
Way,
what a little baby.
Every all your heroes, Mazie Hirono and Chris Coons.
I love that Mazie Hirono.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
Over the last
they
hour.
all took their masks off.
They
They all took their masks off when they talked yesterday. All
Good, right. Because they haven't been around someone who's infected with COVID.
They were sitting right next to Mike Lee. What are you talking about? They've all been around someone. And by the way, Biden should really take the mask off when he talks, because he sounds pathetic.
Why?
He touches it and he mumbles.
This is what's stupid. I mean, but look, I don't love the masks, but look, I've been out and about in the big city the last several weeks. I've been wearing my mask. I've been trying to carry on. If that's what we have to do to those a vaccine, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's a minor inconvenience.
I have been out in the city, and I go in a store, I'll wear the mask, but jogging or biking, no.
Right. Okay, right. But I'm talking about
and I've gone through it many times. They're giving me a hard time.
All right. But was Mark Meadows jogging or biking there?
Nobody was socially distanced. There was no one near him. It's unbelievable. They know it's not dangerous. They're just doing it to be assholes. That's what it's all about. They're doing it to be these mask
They
fanatics.
want to protect their health because the White House.
Hey, Alex, if you have a mask on and I don't, why do you care if I don't?
Because
you're protected. You have a mask on.
You could be your aerosols could get into my eyes. I don't know.
See, exactly. That's the answer. You don't know. You don't know.
All right. So, but someone has to wear the mask. So,
right. So you want to wear a mask? Go ahead. But if it protects you, then why do you care what I do?
Because I want to protect you too.
Oh, it's so
protect
annoying.
me. I have asthma. If you didn't know I have asthma, protect me. Just in case.
Yeah, but if you have a mask on, then you're protected, right? If it's a good mask. I mean, Biden doesn't cover his nose, and he never stops touching it. By the way, did you notice every time he has a mask on, he's like,
you know what? We're gonna have to start doing the show from Jerry's home because Jerry wants
Come on over.
together. All right, let's do it.
I'm ready to go back to the Legacy Club. I mean, it's not the same. There's no peanuts.
I'm very comfortable in my office here. I just met a new dog, came out of nowhere. I'm very comfortable.
I hope that dog has a mask on, because that's the next step in Boston, where this place is nuts. Everybody's masked up. Little kids are wearing masks, which is ridiculous. But anyway, Reimer, congratulations. It was coming out day, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. I'm starting to think you actually are gay. It's not an act. I used to think you were just putting it on trying to get a job at the Globe.
It hasn't worked so far. So,
all right, you can read Reimer all over the place. Forbes.com. You can see him on listen to him on the overnights. You got any big overnight shows coming up?
Yes, my next date is actually election night.
Whoa! No, you're on election night and you're under orders. I know that company. No election talk.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a lot of interviews that night. I think a lot of interviews.
I mean, no more LeBron. No more, baseball, hockey.
Oh, we're talking NFL. I like talking NFL. Getting ready for.
That's all that matters. NFL is all that matters. It's just, I mean, their ratings are good, as you said, down whatever it is, 10%. The NBA is down like 92%. The NFL has done it right. They're not in your face. It feels normal. Games are on at the normal time. I'm enjoying this NFL season. And if occasionally a guy has to miss a week with the virus, so what?
Yeah, so
It's
what?
like the flu. Like the flu. But anyway, 21 days left, 3 weeks left. We'll have Reimer back to represent the lunatic fringe as he always does. Thanks, Reimer.
Hey, and subscribe, and maybe you like to disagree with people. Go subscribe to him on Substack.
Thank you, Dave.
Go
Yes.
subscribe.
Oh, that's right. I was going to
Table
get
for
to
one.
that.
We support independent, whatever journalists here. Go subscribe.
Yes, we do. You had a piece which I disagree with wholeheartedly, but it was good. Well done. What was it on your Substack piece yesterday?
Yes, there's no more COVID relief because life's never been better for rich Americans, and that's the only people who matter.
That is true. The people that you're hearing from advocating for lockdowns, supporting lockdowns, aren't affected by lockdowns. Charlie Baker, Andrew Cuomo, life has never been better. They don't miss a paycheck. They don't miss a vacation day. Their life is good. They're destroying small businesses because they don't care about small businesses because they don't have to live like a small business person. You're right. I mean, we might disagree on some of the details, but these arrogant bastards do not care about working people. We know that now. And by the way, the one they're helping the most is big business. They're helping Amazon. They're helping Home Depot. They're destroying small businesses. Great point. I mean, some of the stuff in there was nonsense, but the big picture, you are 100% right. You can read that. Where do they read that? On Twitter?
Reimer.substack.com. Subscribe.
Reimer.substack.com.
Yeah, I got the Reimer domain name.
Excellent. The hardest working commie I know. All right, Reimer, we'll talk to you next week. Cullinane, anything else?
That's all. Rate, review, subscribe, do all the good things so we can be bigger than Sophia with an F's podcast. That's our goal.
Do you actually listen to the whole podcast?
I'll listen to the whole first one. Yeah.
How long is it? An hour?
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes. The first one. It was pretty brutal, but it was her by herself, and it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't.
And she was number one on Apple. I may realize she's back and she's new, but is she going to be able to keep it up without her partner in crime?
I guess we'll have to wait to find out. I'll update you if you ask. I'll keep listening for us here.
Yes, I'm telling you, Megyn Kelly hooked me in because if she does interviews like this, and I'll listen to the Dershowitz one, if she's going to push it and annoy people, that is good. That's what I want to hear. As you know, too many podcasts are just everybody, stroking each other, everybody patting each other on the back. Unlike, when Megyn Kelly and Mark Cuban or Jerry Callahan and Alex Reimer get together and you got fireworks.
Yeah.
But all right, I appreciate it. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Podcast, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.